A lot of social media talk about, you might have seen it lately about, somebody wanting to use the term Iceman. Everybody's like, he never heard of George Gervin? People don't know who George Gervin. People don't know who Rick Barry is. If you're a Warriors fan, know your history. I mean, this guy was Steph before Steph. I'm not saying that he's as good as Steph. He didn't change the game, but Rick Barry was an MVP player. Hall of Famer, automatic Hall of Famer. And that 75 championship does not happen, didn't even come close without him. So he was the franchise's best player, along with Wilt Chamberlain, before Steph came along.
Okay. So you said he was that good. MVP type player. 30 plus points a game. All right. Underhand free throws, you said? 90% from the free throw line.
That's what I mean.
One of the guys who invented positionless basketball. He was touted for his versatility, his ability to score. Won a championship here with the Warriors in '75. Happy birthday, Rick, and for everything that you've done for the game. If you watch that documentary, you also understand how there's different things, and the things that we get used to today, players going from team to team, negotiating their salaries, well, that's also thanks to Rick Barry. So thank you for that, too.
But the Oakland Oaks, they won a championship, even though he got hurt during the season. They ended up winning the championship in the ABA.
I haven't gotten that far in the documentary yet.
Come on, you've been stuck on episode 1 for a month. You're part of those kids, Fezzi. These young punks out here disrespecting NBA history.
So I'm one of the punks? Dang,
one of those young punks who say.
Here's the thing I say about this. That is so good that I have to Google every player in the. It's a lot of history.
How many episodes?
4 episodes, KB.
Okay.
Awesome. KB, you got to do it. You got to do it. Warriors head coach Steve Kerr said Vice President of Player Health and Performance Rick Celebrity texted him today. So from him that Stephen Curry had a good session as he rehabs his runner's knee.
That's good news.
That is good news. That's from our buddy Sam Gordon at the San Francisco Chronicle. But 5 years ago today, as we go vintage NBA, Stephen Curry returned.
James Wiseman.
5-game absence. They bruised tailbone, and he went crazy against Chicago. 6 threes, 32 points as the Dubs snapped a 4-game losing streak. Look at that. There was weird times there.
This is long hair Steph, too.
Long hair Steph, no fans in the
5 years
crowd. Pandemic. Scouts spaced out. Fans watching on the video board on their laptops.
Yo, Bonta, you say this is 5 years ago, but it's crazy because Steph is moving just as good, if not better, now. Which is kind of scary for the opposing defenses and everybody who's they're watching to see if Steph comes back, what is this team going to look like? I thought the Warriors looked good in the first half tonight. I thought they showed some fight. They brought that mentality from the winning streak, the confidence. Adding Steph to this roster, it just makes everybody that much more dangerous. It makes Kristaps Porzingis more dangerous. It makes D'Anthony Melton. Maybe that's his problem. Maybe he's missing that distraction. Melton's not getting the most pressure from the top defenders of the other team. Now he's slotted to the second, third best defender on the team. And so maybe he can get off that way. There's so many things that Steph does for this team. I think we're all seeing it now over the last 25-plus games.
Yeah, I mean, Draymond Green misses Steph as his longtime partner.
Very much.
Porzingis misses Steph because, he makes the job easier. But nobody misses him more than Melton does. I mean, and Steph has been saying that, hey, that's the guy that I want to be my backcourt partner. We're good at this. And he's a two-way player. He can make plays on both ends. And when Steph goes down, you already lost Jimmy, you lost Steph. Who's supposed to pick up the scoring slack? People looking at Melt like, okay, you're kind of a veteran here. You're ahead of Pods, you're ahead of Guy, all these guys. We need you to kind of pick it up. And his body is kind of saying, there are some nights when I got it and some nights when I don't have it. And lately, it's been a lot of nights when he doesn't have it.
Yeah, these guys over the past 2 months, all of them are wearing down a little bit. That's natural when you go from taking the bench into the starting lineup. Relentless, because these are the guys who are left. They don't get nights off. These are the guys we talk about as young legs, fresh legs, that kind of stuff. They can take it. They want the opportunity. And while that's...
But to some degree, you're right. And Jay's points are very, very valid as well. But can we really keep it a buck and talk about why Draymond Green said what he said? Is because Draymond Green is somebody that at times feels underappreciated. Do y'all know that Draymond Green is in his 8th consecutive year where he hasn't even averaged double digits in points? 8 straight years since he has averaged less than 10 points a game. And we call him a Hall of Famer, a future Hall of Famer. We remember that he's a 4-time champion. And we also say Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and those boys don't have a championship without Draymond Green. So clearly, there's some feelings there as an elite defensive player who was a former defensive player of the year, who was a top 3 candidate for defensive player of the year in this league on at least 3 or 4 occasions. That's who Draymond Green is, and that's who the individual that was talking. The problem that he has is, you know what, the lack of recognition for those who prioritize defense. And my point is, how come you ain't blaming the league? Look at the changes that was infused into the league. The league wanted more offense. The league has compromised defenders. You have all-world defenders, Hall of Famers who are retired, obviously, who've complained about what the league allows now compared to what they did back in the day. They want to be able to put their forearm on you. They want to be able to get physical with you. Now, you can get teed up, thrown out of a game, or at the very least get 6 fouls for passing gas. It's that damn bad sometimes in the NBA circles. Things have changed, okay? How come he didn't bring that up? Draymond knows that. Draymond knows that the media ain't guilty of that. It's the league, but he didn't say that because he's new media. And because he's new media, he's looking at the old guard or conventional media, and he's challenging us to cover the game in its completion. Wendy, I don't think he's completely wrong about that. I do think there are cases he can point to where us as media members could do a better job in highlighting stuff, you know, with the same energy, as they say. Keep the same energy, don't lose energy. Don't lose the intensity, keep the same intensity. I get that part. But you're also right in highlighting that it hasn't been ignored. We just haven't been as loquacious about it as he would like us to be. But here is where we drop the mic on Draymond Green when it comes to what he said. You know who else hasn't talked about it, Draymond? You. You've had your podcast for years. We don't hear you talking about that much because we listening to what you're saying. You listen, Wendy, don't you? Don't you listen to what he has to say, Jay? Haven't we all acknowledged how knowledgeable and what a basketball savant we believe him to be? We've said all of these things. We've quoted him on numerous occasions on his podcast, on his show that he owns. We ain't hear you talking about that before. So if you missed it, what you knocking us for missing it for? You do it for a living, and you didn't talk about it that much. That's all I'm trying to say.
What if the biggest breaking news for the Warriors right now is not a trade, not a rumor, not some loud TV debate, but one simple sentence about Stephen Curry having a good rehab session? Seriously, think about that. One good session, one positive update, and suddenly the whole mood around this team starts to shift. Because when Steve Kerr says Rick Celebrini told him Steph had a good day rehabbing that runner's knee, Dub Nation hears something bigger than medical progress. We hear hope. We hear movement. We hear the possibility that the entire shape of this team could change again very, very soon. And if you've been watching these last 25 games without Steph, then yeah, you already know why that matters so much. Because let's be honest, Warriors fans have had to live in survival mode. Steph has missed 25 straight games with knee soreness, and the team has had to grind through injuries, weird lineups, role changes, fatigue, and nights where everybody looked like they were carrying just a little too much. Reuters reported that the next anticipated step for Curry is a live 5-on-5 scrimmage with another reevaluation coming this week. That means we are not talking about fantasy anymore. We are talking about a real ramp-up, a real path, a real chance to get number 30 back before everything is decided. That is why this update hits hard. Not because it guarantees anything, but because it tells you the door is still open. And now comes the part that you get every Warriors fan leaning forward. What happens when Steph actually returns to this version of the roster? Because the people on the broadcast said it perfectly. This team changes completely with him. Completely. They even said Steph is moving as well as, maybe even better than, that old return clip they were showing from years back. And if that's true, good luck, rest of the league, because we have already seen the outlines of something interesting. Kristaps Porzingis has been giving Golden State size, interior scoring, passing, and a release valve the roster badly needed. Guy Santos is suddenly playing with real confidence. Brandon Podziemski is growing under pressure. Even these messy wins and gritty efforts have shown that the Warriors still have fight, structure, and enough collective belief to stay in the mix. Reuters noted Golden State beat Washington for its third straight win and climbed within half a game of ninth in the West. And those games matter now because they are buying time for Steph's return. That is why the most exciting part of this whole conversation is not just Steph is getting closer, it's what Steph unlocks for everybody else. The broadcast nailed this too. Steph makes Porzingis more dangerous because now defenses have to make impossible choices. You can't load up inside the same way when the greatest shooter ever is warping the weak side. You can't casually help off everywhere when one relocation turns into 3 points in a blink. And maybe the most important little detail they brought up is DeAnthony Melton. Because without Steph, Melton has had to absorb way more offensive pressure, way more creation burden, way more defensive attention than this roster really wants from him every single night. Put Steph back on the floor, and suddenly Melton's life gets lighter. Easier matchup, more space, cleaner reads, better rhythm. Haha, that's how stars raise teams, not just by scoring, but by changing everybody's job. And let's not forget the emotional side of this. Draymond misses Steph as his longtime partner. Podziemski misses him because he makes the game simpler. Melton misses him because he was built to complement him, not replace him. The whole roster has been stretching and stretching and stretching to hold this thing together. Golden State did officially secure a play-in spot this week after the Brooklyn win, and that is huge because it means all this grinding has actually kept the season alive. So when you hear good rehab session, you're not hearing a random injury blurb. You're hearing a possible countdown to the moment when all these overextended roles start snapping back into place. That's why I'm ending this on a very favorable note for the Warriors. No, Steph isn't back yet. No, there's still no official return date, but this team has done the hard part. It has survived long enough for the update to matter. It has stayed alive long enough for the good news to mean something. It has found just enough growth, just enough rhythm, and just enough belief that a Steph return would not be about saving a dead season. It would be about raising a living one. Yeah, and that is a massive difference. So now I want to hear from you, Dub Nation. When Steph comes back, who benefits the most? Porzingis, Melton, Podziemski, or the whole team equally? Drop your take in the comments, smash the like button, subscribe, and stay locked in, because if this breaking news is the beginning of the turnaround, you're going to want to say you were here before the rest of the world noticed.